Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. This is just hopefully a quick check-in to tell you some of the overarching messages that have been coming through for me. I've been a little bit overwhelmed with some of the stuff that's been happening. It's freaked me out a little bit. Basically the imagery that I got has led me to I'm thinking about which way to tell you. So basically it's all about shadow work. So shadow work is when we go within, we look at our memories, things that happened in the past, our feelings about those things, and we look at how they're affecting our lives currently, and how perhaps things that happened in the past stop us from doing things that we want to do, or keep us small, or make us act a way that perhaps isn't appropriate, or a way that we don't like, because of these things that happened in the past that kind of affected our patterns of behaviour. Now this is it's a philosophy, it's Carl Jung, and this kind of shadow work stuff is related to Carl Jung. I'm not 100% kind of an expert on his philosophies whatsoever, but I was getting all this stuff about I'll kind of run through the imagery in a minute, but I was getting this stuff about somebody really going to like the deepest, darkest kind of like depths of their own like inner soul, right? Really looking at the worst memories, the most painful things. It's like this person had really like cleared out the shadow work. It came through this like clearing the levels, like clearing the basements energy, and they have harnessed it. So the way that this came through in imagery was it was kind of like this big black dragon under the earth. This led me to Tartarus and Typhon, and that kind of imagery. But the thing with this big black dragon was that it was protective. It was like a friend. So the energy of it was very, very peaceful, very safe. So if you think about How to Train Your Dragon, if you know that kind of the big black dragon in How to Train Your Dragon, it's kind of friendly, it kind of acts like a dog. It was that kind of energy. It was so it's this thing that's been coming through in a few readings of like going down and doing that deep like soul work, that shadow work, befriending your own inner monsters, healing them, and actually transmuting that energy into something that is positive. Now it was coming through this energy of like golden. I was getting kind of Billie Eilish, gold leaf upon your lips and all this kind of stuff. Gold's fake and real love hurts. That's my cat, by the way, if you can hear her. Gold's fake and real love hurts, but nothing hurts when I'm alone, when you're with me and I'm alone. And that was the energy. It's like nothing hurts when we're alone. Like you, the person doing the shadow work, and this big black like friendly dragon, right? And it's like this dragon should be scary. This dragon should be, if you think about metaphors of like the devil. And then it was this weird image of, sorry, my cat's trying to, are you coming out? Come on then. This weird imagery of like Archangel Michael being there. It's like this angel with these big white wings had taken somebody down to the lowest depths of like Tartarus, right? This is like the deepest you can go. And it's like, well, why would a protective, guardian, positive angel take you to what is effectively the devil? If you know like the imagery of Michael and the devil, Michael's known to have stabbed the devil when it was a dragon. So it's like it didn't make sense, but it does if you think about it, because it's like that's how you defeat your dragon. That's how you defeat your inner demons, is by like going down there and facing it and getting to know it and harnessing it to make it something positive. Now, I've been getting this Libra's reading. I'm redoing the readings because they were so overwhelming. So I'm going to get the collective message out, and then hopefully the readings will calm down a little bit. Do you want to go back on the window ledge? Where are you trying to go, Bess? I don't know either, girl. I don't know what you're doing either. So basically what's coming through is kind of becoming one, right? Becoming complete, being both light and dark, but that dark transmuting into something that is almost like a friend to you. It protects you. It's fearlessness. Now they're giving me Lana Del Rey. Fearless in the face of danger. Real love is like something like that. I can't remember the line properly. So it was like coming back up then. It was coming back up with this this power. It's almost like riding the dragon back up to the surface. So then I was getting all this imagery of like this beach with tidal waves, and they're telling me umbrella again because it was coming through this under my umbrella energy, you know, like Rihanna, like you're protected, you're under my umbrella. But like storms and volcanoes, it's like they're volcanic islands, so volcanoes and storms and tidal waves and lightning. It was all this power, right, this natural power, and it was almost like this perhaps pain or fear or whatever these shadows were of the past being transmuted into this like almost like fearless love energy. It was like love as a primordial force. Just, it was almost like a new god being created, like lotus flowers as well, this pink fire force energy, this natural force. It was really kind of big and overpowering, because somebody had done this shadow work. Now when I kind of looked into it a little bit more, actually it was a different a completely different thing that led me to this. Apparently Carl Jung has this thing about the golden shadow, which is you see how they were giving me like the shadow and they were giving me gold, but I didn't get the golden shadow because it wasn't a term I was overly familiar with. So excuse me, Jung's golden shadow is when you do that deep shadow work, when you defeat your own inner monsters, you know, the memories, the pain, the hurt, the fears, and you take it and like transmogrify it into something, like alchemize it into something that is beneficial to you and incredibly powerful, because you're not afraid anymore, you're not hurt anymore. It becomes this, I think Jung calls, I know Kat, she's talking to the birds. Jung calls it this untapped, powerful creative potential. So it's almost as like artists or writers or poets, they use their pain and create beautiful works of art that's hugely beneficial to the greater population. Bessie, really? And that's what I feel like a lot of you are doing now. You're taking your pain, your hurt, all these bad things, and making it into something beautiful that helps and heals others. So let's pat ourselves on the back, right? We're doing well. So what did I get? You didn't break my heart, you made it stronger. So it's this thing about taking pain and turning it into strength. Pain becomes strength and fear becomes bravery, right? It's taking those feelings, those bad things, but turning it into something that is beneficial. So really, really, really big, powerful stuff. So that's the main stuff that I was kind of getting, that was kind of permeating through all the readings for this week, which I need to redo because they just went on for so long and I kept repeating myself. So it's better for me to get a collective message out and it's done then. And then if it comes up in a reading, I can be like, go and watch the collective reading for more information on that. So this stuff about black dragons, Typhon, Tartarus, the beach keeps coming through really strongly. Under my umbrella, this protection energy, transmuting pain and bad things into positive things. Really, really good stuff. So I just watched Taylor Swift. Hello? Are you okay, sir? I just watched Taylor Swift's 10-minute long video. I can't think of what she called it now, but she does a similar thing. It's like she takes that pain and turns it into something creative at the end, you know, that's helping other people. You can see it on the faces, they're relating to the things that she's saying. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Now, talking personally, some weird stuff has been happening this week. I watched the movie June, which I didn't really know very much about. I thought it was a computer game. I'm still not 100% sure if I'm right on that. I knew it was something that is very popular. I never watched, I didn't know it was already a movie, like an older movie, like it was a remake. I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever watched that movie. I didn't know it was a book, right? I knew very little about it. All I knew was Dune. I've heard of that. I think it's a computer game. I think I was thinking of Doom, right? Because I'm an idiot. And I was at the pictures watching another movie, and I saw like the cutout, you know, the board, and it was basically just the actors. Very little information on there. And I was like, oh, it looks like Star Wars. I like Star Wars. Maybe I'd like that movie. So without knowing hardly anything about it, I watched that movie, and it was the freakiest thing, because it was almost like frame by frame, like the messages, the prophecies and things that I've been getting were playing out in that movie. So I couldn't watch the movie. I couldn't just sit there and enjoy it, because it was like, oh my God, I predicted that. Oh my God, I predicted that. Oh my God, I predicted that. Like constantly, there was at least 10 things. So I had this, without doing too many spoilers, I mean, you can stop watching now because I'm just talking personal stuff about my own mental breakdown. But, you know, Libra's reading had this thing about this thing coming up from, it was like this big massive primordial force, right, like the dragon, which coincidentally dragons used to be called worms, so some of you know where I'm going with this already. So it's this like this big thing coming up from underneath, like being unleashed from underneath the surface, right, and coming up. And then they had this card, and it was almost like this Queen of Cups energy that was kind of had this singing bowl. I mean, they're coming out of water, not sand. What are you doing, Bess? Come on. So they were coming up out of water in this reading, and there's this weird kind of switch with water and sand, which I'll come to again in a minute. But there was this Queen of Cups energy, like playing this singing bowl, and it was what was drawing this thing up from underneath, right, through under the water. I was saying it's like the vibrations. It's like the vibrations are drawing this thing up. So if you've watched Dune, or if you know anything about it, like the sandworms, like get called by like vibrations, like certain vibration. What are you doing, Bess? My cat is making love to my plant right now. She's trying to brush up against it. I'm not sure what Stifler feels about that. I know, I love you too, Bess. What are you in this weird mood for? Why are you being so nice today? What's going on? So, yeah, so that was a thing. And then this thing about harnessing it as well, like harnessing the dragon, harnessing the power of the worm. That's also a thing in the movie. I kept on getting the one, and that's a thing in the movie. I got this thing about, in one of my readings, I was like, if you build it, they will come. And it's almost said in the movie, but they say if you lead, they will follow. But it was the same kind of vibe, and I was like, that I predicted that. Like there was so much stuff, and I was just sat there like I don't understand it. Even like there was this scene where because I get visions, right? I say it casually like everybody does, right? I get visions, but I saw this thing where it was the desert, right, in the image that I saw, with this man in the foreground with a backpack on, and he was watching this thing, like this big triangular shaped ship rise up out of the desert, like, and all the sand. I remember like specifically the shape at the front of this ship and the sand falling off it. Now it didn't play out exactly like that in the movie, but there's a scene where the exact same ship, right, this big triangular shaped ship comes up out of the water, and I was like, that is exactly what I saw, only I saw it with sand, and I saw a guy with a backpack in the foreground. Like that is what I saw. Even like the water pouring down, I saw it as sand falling down. So then later in the movie, the guy gets a backpack and stands in the foreground, and I was like, there's the backpack. I knew he was gonna have a backpack. So it was the most bizarre thing. It's like watching a movie that you've already watched when you haven't already watched it. It was so bizarre. So and the weird thing is as well, like that movie is about predicting stuff. So that sent me on a wobble, because then I was sat there going, well, I can clearly predict stuff, because like I said, I have no knowledge of that movie whatsoever, and yet it was like I'd seen it before. So it really freaked me out, and I was like, well, what's the point? What is the point of being able to do readings, being able to see things, if all I'm doing is predicting movies? So I had this whole existential crisis about it. And then there's this thing about the yellow coat as well, because my mum's really sick and she's on a lot of medication, and she's seen what she calls ghosts. And she said there's this woman, and this woman wears a yellow coat. And she hasn't talked to her apparently. But I also saw in one of these little vision things that I had, I saw these little peg dolls. Now they're like wooden, you know, like peg dolls. I don't know if anyone's ever seen them. Clothes pegs are like wooden, and you turn them into a little doll. But this had like a bigger, it was almost like an avocado stone sized head. This little doll with like the yellow coat and brown hair and a pink woolly hat. And then like one of my friends on Twitter was wearing this yellow coat, so I don't know what the yellow coat is. But it just seems to be, I don't know, I'm just questioning it. I'm like, I know 100% without a doubt I am definitely having visions that play out and become something, but they never make sense. So I'm hoping that when they come out in readings, when I say these things in readings, they make sense to somebody out there, and they're helpful and meaningful, and there's a point to them. Because to me it's just like, I'm seeing stuff but I don't know why. So with all that in mind, I'm going to end that reading there, and I'm going to hopefully start the readings for this week again, and hopefully they're going to be a little bit quicker and a little bit less overwhelming for me. So with that said, I'm going to leave you there. That's my crazy for the week, and I'll see you in your readings. See you soon, guys.